Well, I know that I, for one, am very excited to work with you guys.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the moments when the Academy Awards made severe miscalculations regarding the movies they awarded, the movies they didn't, and the ones they forgot to nominate altogether.
So full of disdain and resentment and always so annoyed.
Number 20. Gwyneth Paltrow wins Best Actress, the 71st Academy Awards. The 71st Oscars might be the only instance of two actresses both receiving nominations for playing the same person in different movies. Judi Dench and Cate Blanchett played Queen Elizabeth I in Shakespeare in Love and Elizabeth, respectively, and the Academy put themselves on the wrong side of history when honoring them.
Have her then, but you're a lordly fool. She's been plucked since I saw her last, and not by you.
While Dench's supporting actress win for a performance that's practically a cameo is head-scratching enough, Blanchett losing to Dench's co-star Gwyneth Paltrow is simply unacceptable.
If my hurt is to be that you write no more, then I shall be the sorrier.
While not bad, Paltrow's work doesn't exactly scream Oscar caliber, often appearing as the kind of one-dimensional rom-com work that any actress of her generation could pull off. But considering the movie's aggressive awards campaign, this win may have been more inevitable than anyone is willing to admit.
I wanted to be an actor. I'm so sorry, Will.
Number 19. No nomination for the Lego Movie, the 87th Academy Awards. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller more than earned Oscars for their work on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But their first trip to the Dolby Theater stage should have occurred 4 years earlier.
That's super frustrating.
With the Lego Movie, the filmmaking duo confirmed themselves as a cut above the rest, as the movie's use of computer animation with a stop-motion edge felt like something we'd never seen before.
Fellow master builders, including, but not limited to, Robin Hood, Mermaid Lady, Gandalf, Swamp Creature, 1980-something Space Guy, 2002 NBA All-Stars, and Wonder Woman. You have traveled far to be here for a moment of great import.
With hilarious pop culture references and a surprisingly thoughtful story, the Lego Movie looked poised to win the gold. Heck, it was even named one of the 10 best movies of the year by the National Board of Review. And yet its nomination for Best Animated Feature was nowhere to be found. Everything about this decision was not awesome. Number 18. Amy Adams is Dead on Arrival, the 89th Academy Awards. If there's a genre that notoriously has it hard in the acting categories, it's sci-fi. But it seemed like an exception was about to be made with Amy Adams in Arrival. The actress was already an Academy darling with 5 previous nominations, but Denis Villeneuve's heady First Contact movie was widely viewed as her best performance yet.
We need to clarify the difference between a specific you and a collective you, because we don't want to know why Joe Alien is here. We want to know why they all landed.
As linguist Louise Banks, Adams keeps things remarkably human even as the movie delves deeper into its complex story about communication with alien life. It's by no means flashy, but she nevertheless manages to seamlessly connect with audiences.
I don't understand. What is your purpose here?
How that connection did not lend itself to an Oscar nomination is beyond us, but seeing her shut out was a shock even more surprising than the movie's twist ending.
If you could see your whole life from start to finish, would you change things?
Number 17. The Greatest Show on Earth wins Best Picture, the 25th Academy Awards. By 1952, the Academy was celebrating its 25th anniversary and capitalized on that milestone by honoring that year's slate with the first televised Oscars ceremony. But what should have been a great night was instead marred by the horrendous choice of The Greatest Show on Earth as Best Picture.
Look at her!
The ensemble circus drama may have been the highest-grossing movie at the box office, but it's also about as incoherent and safe as an Oscar winner can get. The Academy likely needed a harmless movie to prop up as television and the Hollywood blacklist both emerged as threats to the industry's well-being.
Oh, now I know he's kidding.
But if appealing to the masses meant ignoring High Noon and not even nominating Singin' in the Rain, we are not okay with it.
The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love.
Number 16. James Dean loses Best Actor twice, the 28th Academy Awards and the 29th Academy Awards. James Dean's short-lived career is a major what-if in Hollywood history, as he had so much left to offer before his 1955 passing.
Well, I don't know who else to ask.
You got a lot of nerve coming to me.
Why? I didn't do anything to you.
The Academy clearly admired his capabilities, as 2 of his performances earned him posthumous Best Actor nominations. Unfortunately, any chance voters had to put a definitive cap on his legacy went to waste, as his roles in East of Eden and Giant both went home empty-handed.
I don't know, but what just might not be a pretty good idea to gamble along with old Madama.
The performances Dean lost to did not exactly push the medium forward, with Yul Brynner's win for The King and I aging particularly badly given the cultural appropriation involved. This would be a frustrating trend for the 1957 Oscars, as Giant eventually lost Best Picture to the equally problematic Around the World in 80 Days.
What if we decided to save her?
Good heavens, man, you can't interfere with native affairs.
Why not?
Oh, it isn't done.
Number 15. Toni Collette gets nothing for Hereditary, the 91st Academy Awards. Horror is another genre that's often on the outside looking in with Academy voters, but it still has a track record of success. Misery, The Silence of the Lambs, and Black Swan all propelled their lead actresses to Oscar wins. With her uncompromising blend of dramatic intensity and physicality, Toni Collette's role in Hereditary could have easily followed suit.
And I just feel like... I just sometimes feel like it's all ruined.
Her portrayal of a grieving mother's unraveling is both heartbreaking and horrifying, demonstrating a degree of acting that needs to be seen to be believed. Yet much like Annie Graham, larger forces overtook Colette's momentum, and her powerful performance went unnoticed at the Oscars. While bigger travesties occurred at that year's ceremony, this snub nevertheless underscored issues that many have with the Academy's genre bias.
If you could have just said, I'm sorry, or faced up to what happened, maybe then we could do something with this, but you can't take responsibility for anything!
Number 14. Roberto Benigni wins Best Actor, the 71st Academy Awards. Directing, co-writing, and starring in Life is Beautiful, the historical dramedy is a true passion project for Roberto Benigni.
Bisogna fare 1000 punti. Chi fa 1000 punti vince un carro armato vero.
Like his character Guido, the Italian comic's exuberance propelled him to a rapturous Oscar win in 1999. It's the kind of win that simply warms your heart, at least in the moment. In hindsight, it simply leaves you wondering if voters watched any other movies. On top of the movie's love it or hate it use of humor in portraying the Holocaust, Benigni's comedic stylings are simply too broad and one-dimensional to compare with his fellow nominees. If the Academy wanted to honor someone searching for identity in the face of intolerance, Ian McKellen in Gods and Monsters and Edward Norton in American History X were both sitting right there.
I think they're in a better position to make that judgment call than you are.
Number 13. The Dark Knight is cut short, the 81st Academy Awards. Like a dog chasing cars, the Academy didn't know what to do with this genre-defining superhero epic once they caught it. Despite a respectable 8 nominations and a well-deserved win for Heath Ledger's eerie performance as the Joker, The Dark Knight was stopped short of being nominated for Best Picture.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
It was an utterly confounding decision, as the movie was a critical and financial sensation, and has arguably had a greater shelf life than anything released in 2008.
All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal, and I'm gonna give it to them.
An omission pretty much no one respected, the backlash was so severe that the Academy began expanding its pool of Best Picture nominees the following year. While it doesn't make up for an unwarranted snub, you can't deny it at least led to a greater good.
This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Number 12. Whoopi Goldberg loses Best Actress, the 58th Academy Awards. A number of questionable decisions were made at the 1986 Oscars. Master filmmaker Akira Kurosawa lost his only Best Director nomination for Ron, while Steven Spielberg wasn't even nominated for The Color Purple.
I got the 2 children, but Nae's alive.
The latter movie had it rough, tying a dubious record of 11 nominations without a single win. One of those losses inexplicably went to Whoopi Goldberg in her breakout performance as Celie. It's the kind of acting that feels tailor-made to be recognized without ever coming across as calculated. She becomes one with her character in a harrowing story of abuse, deceit, and trauma, all while imbuing the part with hope for better things ahead.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
In short, Goldberg was far too well-rounded to lose to Geraldine Page in The Trip to Bountiful. Be honest, have you even heard of that movie?
Yes, the Lord's just with me today. I wonder why the Lord's not with us every day. Sure would be nice if he was.
Number 11, Apocalypse Now loses the Best Picture war, the 52nd Academy Awards. In fairness, a Best Picture win for Kramer vs. Kramer made sense in 1980. On top of its moving performances, its portrayal of shifting parental roles amidst a contentious custody battle made it well-timed for an era when divorce rates began to skyrocket.
And I don't love you anymore.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
However, it's fair to say that its legacy has been dwarfed by that of its fellow nominee, Apocalypse Now. Arguably the greatest war film ever made, Francis Ford Coppola's descent into the jungles of Vietnam was a towering achievement that bravely explored the conflict in all of its nightmarish madness.
Nothing else in the world smells like that. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Its meditation on the human spirit was just as attuned to the late 70s as Kramer, but in the Academy's eyes, its efforts were as futile as the war itself. The horror indeed.
That your methods were unsound. Are my methods unsound?
Number 10. Al Pacino finally wins, at precisely the wrong moment. The 65th Academy Awards. By the time this acting legend received his first Oscar, he was perhaps the most overdue performer of his generation. Al Pacino's Best Actor win for Scent of a Woman should have been vindication after his turn in The Godfather Part 2 infamously lost to Art Carney in Harry and Tonto.
I appreciate that, Jacob. But I think we'd end up hating each other. You know, I could be a real pain in the ass.
I lived with my wife for 40 years. I can live with you.
Instead, it was an error on two fronts. Not only did voters award Pacino for an inferior and borderline goofy performance, but they ignored Denzel Washington's powerhouse role as Malcolm X in the process.
Now, you know, you don't have to come down here every day begging these folks for a job. Well, you can wash their clothes for them, you can scrub their floors, you can rock their little brats to sleep for the rest of your life. You'll still end up poor and without anything.
Ironically, Washington's interpretation of the civil rights leader feels much closer to the epic scale and tragic magnitude of Michael Corleone's journey than anything Pacino does in Scent of a Woman. So much for righting a Godfather-related wrong.
You're nothing to me now. You're not a brother. You're not a friend. I don't want to know you or what you do.
Number 9. Best Picture to The King's Speech, the 83rd Academy Awards. The National Society of Film Critics, Los Angeles Film Critics, New York Film Critics Circle, National Board of Review, and Golden Globes are just some of the organizations that picked David Fincher's The Social Network as the best film of 2010.
Mark!
He's wired in. Sorry? He's wired in.
Is he?
Yes.
How about now? You still wired in?
Quentin Tarantino has even called it the best film of the decade, saying, quote, "It is number one because it's the best. That's all. It crushes all the competition." However, according to the Academy Awards, The Social Network wasn't even the best film of the year 2010.
I believe I deserve some recognition from this board.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
I don't understand.
Which part?
You deserve recognition.
That honor went to Tom Hooper's The King's Speech, a solid period drama, but hardly the best film of that year.
There may be dark days ahead. And
try again.
Almost 10 years later, Fincher continues to make Oscar-caliber movies like Mank, while Hooper made Cats. Number 8. Spielberg not nominated for Jaws, the 48th Academy Awards. Steven Spielberg is the most financially successful director of all time, and is often credited with creating the modern blockbuster with his 1975 film Jaws.
You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
The film was even nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, although Spielberg was not among the Best Director nominees that year.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
To be fair, 1975 was a pretty great year at the movies, and the director category was stacked with some of the best filmmakers of their generation, including Fellini, Kubrick, Lumet, Altman, and that year's winner, Milos Forman, for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Mr. McMurphy, the meeting was adjourned and the vote was closed.
But the vote was 10-8. The chief, he's got his hand up, look.
However, there was probably some old-school thinking among Academy members who couldn't appreciate the talent and artistic vision behind a blockbuster movie about a shark. Number 7. Green Book wins Best Picture, the 91st Academy Awards. The Oscars so white hashtag stemmed from a noticeable lack of diversity at the 2015 and 2016 Oscars, most notably in the acting categories.
You have a very narrow assessment of me, Toni.
Yeah, right? I'm good.
No, you're not good, you're bad.
Since then, the Academy has tried, or at least tried to make it look like they're trying, to bring more diversity. In 2019, multiple people of color got acting nods, while Best Picture nominations went to BlacKkKlansman and Black Panther.
My king.
Stop it. Stop it.
On the surface, Green Book taking home Best Picture looked like another step forward. However, beneath the surface, this divisive film could be considered a step back.
Christ, I'm blacker than you are.
Excuse me?
The New York Times wrote that the movie has, quote, very little that can't be described as crude, obvious, and borderline offensive. Well, at least the Academy finally made up for Peter Farrelly's Dumb and Dumber snub.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Number 6. Raging Bull loses Best Picture, the 53rd Academy Awards. Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull is a masterpiece. Not only did it garner plenty of praise in 1980, but it has been deemed by many, including famed film critic Roger Ebert, as the best film of that entire decade. It's so ingrained in our cinematic subconscious that many people probably assume it won awards for Best Picture and Best Director at the Oscars. But it didn't.
I'm telling you now, if I hear anything, I swear on our mother, I'm gonna kill somebody.
Those honors actually went to a good film from a very good director, Robert Redford's Ordinary People. It was Redford's first time behind the camera.
You make it look easy.
And in a crazy coincidence, Scorsese would suffer the same fate exactly 10 years later. Number 5. Dances with Wolves gets the win, the 63rd Academy Awards. A decade after failing to give Raging Bull the top prize, the Academy had ample opportunity to make it up to Martin Scorsese. The director arguably topped his 1980 masterpiece with 1990's Goodfellas, one of the definitive mob movies.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Goodfellas was nominated for Best Picture, and Scorsese earned a directing nod. The film was arguably his best since Raging Bull, and some critics have even called it Scorsese's finest work.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
But again, not the Academy. Talk about déjà vu, Scorsese and his film lost to an actor turned first-time director. This time, it was Kevin Costner and Dances with Wolves.
The longer this condition persists, the less inclined I am to believe that anyone will.
Sure, that's a good movie, but it's no Goodfellas. Don't worry, Marty, your Oscar is only another 16 years away.
How many of these guys have been with you long enough to be disgruntled, huh?
Number 4. Crash over Brokeback Mountain, the 78th Academy Awards. When people talk about overrated Best Picture winners, Crash has become the default answer for many.
So you tell me, why aren't we scared?
Because we got guns?
You could be right.
One particular director had this to say about the crime drama. Quote, was it the best film of the year? I don't think so. Why should anyone care what this one director had to say? Well, maybe because he is Paul Haggis, the writer and director of said Best Picture winner.
You embarrass me. You embarrass yourself.
And he isn't alone. In 2015, The Hollywood Reporter asked hundreds of Academy voters to recast their vote on the 2006 race. And this time in their poll, Brokeback Mountain came out on top.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Why don't you just let me be, huh?
Number 3. The Wrong Thing to Do the Right Thing, the 62nd Academy Awards. In 1992, John Singleton became Oscar's first Black Best Director nominee for Boys in the Hood.
Hey man, what's wrong with you?
He should have been at least the second, following Spike Lee for Do the Right Thing. While Lee did get in for Best Original Screenplay, he lost that award and wasn't even nominated for Best Director. The film wasn't nominated for Best Picture either. Instead, the Oscars laid praise on a much tamer, less important, and more Academy-friendly look at race relations, Driving Miss Daisy.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to drive you to the stove.
As Lee put it, Driving Miss Daisy isn't, quote, being taught in film schools all across the world like Do the Right Thing is. While Lee finally won a screenplay Oscar for Black Klansman, star John David Washington went overlooked in Best Actor. Number 2, Citizen Kane loses Best Picture, the 14th Academy Awards. What is the greatest movie of all time? The answer to that question will obviously vary depending on who you ask. But when it comes to critics, filmmakers, historians, and writers, the answer that you will hear most often is without a doubt Citizen Kane.
Mr. Thatcher is one of our most devoted readers. He knows what's wrong with every copy of the Inquirer since I took over.
And one answer you will probably never hear is How Green Was My Valley. And yet, in 1942, at the 14th Academy Awards, it was the latter that took home the top prize.
What can I do for you?
In fact, on another lesser but still wrong note, The Maltese Falcon, a great movie often cited as the birth of film noir, was another one of the Best Picture nominees that lost to How Green Was My Valley that year.
What is it?
The stuff that dreams are made of.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Saving Private Ryan loses Best Picture, the 71st Academy Awards. Of all the films that have won Best Picture at the Academy Awards, a significant percentage of them also won Best Director.
I think I got a winner. What are you talking about?
One of the times that didn't happen is also the most egregious mistake that the Oscars has ever made. In 1999, the Academy deemed Steven Spielberg the Best Director for his film Saving Private Ryan.
Come up with a better way to knock the tracks off a tank. I'm all ears.
However, in a decision that shocked Hollywood, the Best Picture Oscar went to Shakespeare in Love. And while Shakespeare in Love is a very good film, most people credit its victory less to artistic merits and more to the hardcore and overwhelming marketing push that it got from the studio.
What do we do now?
The show must, you know.
Go on.
A victory that, as Vanity Fair wrote just a few years ago, quote, changed the awards forever. Do you know of another time the Oscars got it wrong? Be sure to let us know in the comments.